Do you ever have those days where you're just not feeling it? Because no matter how driven you are, sometimes you're gonna be feeling a bit off. That's normal. Literally everyone has that sometimes. And so today I wanna share with you a really simple thing that I've just started doing that has really helped. And I haven't really heard anyone else talking about this. So if you give it a try, I think you'll be surprised how effective it can really be. And it's called a success list. And as the name suggests, it is a list you keep of your successes. But I'm not talking about really big accomplishments here. I'm talking about those really small little day-to-day wins. So, at the end of every day, the only criteria is that you write down anything that made you feel good, anything that gave you a little bit of an extra boost, you put down on this list. So, as an example, my most recent addition was simply a friend messaging out of the blue to say they were enjoying the videos I was making and keep going. Now that really isn't some massive achievement, is it? But here's the key. When you're having those moments or those days where you're just a bit unhappy with the world and things aren't going quite right, well, I guarantee if you go and look at that list, then of course it's gonna give you a boost in motivation and change your energy levels, because it is literally back-to-back good, positive things that have happened to you. Now, I'll admit, when I first thought about this, I was like, that's really cheesy. But here's why I think it's important. Firstly, I think it's human nature to focus on the negatives and overlook the positives. And this forces you to do the opposite. Because I really think it's those little wins, those nice little moments in life that can be the fuel to keep you going. Imagine a straight line. And at the one end is where you are right now, and at the other end is where you want your life to be, your ideal vision of what your life's going to become. Well, it's never gonna be a straight line to get there. Sometimes you're gonna get thrown off a little bit. And these success lists are a way of nudging you back onto the line, on the path you're supposed to be, because it's a reminder of all the good things that have happened so far, the reason that you're doing all this stuff. And so it's kind of a reminder that although you're not quite at that end point yet, look at all these successes you've had on the way to getting there. Because here's the other thing. We like to think that our memories are pretty decent, but they're really not. If we don't write this stuff down, I guarantee you will forget a lot of it. And that's where the real power of these success lists come in, because they're cumulative. You don't start a new one every week, you just keep adding to it. And so that means if you just spend 2 minutes a night writing a few things down, well then in a year's time, you're gonna have pages and pages of things that made you feel good and things that make you feel positive. And so when you're down, I'm not saying you need to read through the entire list every time, but just start skimming through it and reminding yourself of all those little wins, all those little compliments you got, or those times where you solved a problem that you'd been struggling with, or just anything where you were like, yes, I've got this. Those moments, write them down and then read through them whenever you're feeling a bit low, and I guarantee it's gonna give you a surge in motivation. But here's the other thing. Not only will doing this actually change your state in that specific moment and give you a bit more energy to carry on with whatever you're doing, well, in the long term, it's gonna help build your self-esteem and your confidence. Because of course it will, if you're training your brain to focus on these positive things and regularly reminding yourself of them. Whereas most people do the opposite. Their mind instantly gravitates to the bad stuff that happened, the petty comment they heard, the annoying things that happened to them today. You're flipping the script. And if you are still skeptical, I would just say have a go and test it to see if it actually works for you, because you haven't really got anything to lose by trying it. But there are 2 crucial things you need to do to make sure this works effectively. The first is you need to make this a habit. So that means every single night you need to get into the routine of adding something to this list, maybe multiple things. And then as soon as you catch yourself feeling down at any point, bam, that's when you need to go and get the list and start having a read through. And that's why I like to keep the list on a Google Doc, so it's always accessible. The second thing you need to do though is that if you're ever struggling to add things to the list, you really need to lower the bar. Because when we hear the word success, we're often thinking about hitting some massive goal, but that's not the case. It should be literally anything positive that's happening to you, which literally might be a passing compliment that someone gave you, or just something you figured out today that's gonna help you in the long term. Because if there's a day where you say there is literally nothing you can add, you are not thinking hard enough. I mean, even right now you've got something you can add because you just found out about this cool new idea that's going to make you feel more motivated and more positive. So, you know, put that down. And look, it might take a little bit of time to get properly into the routine of doing this, but stick with it. Because the longer you do it, the longer your list will become. And then the more ammunition you will have every time you need a dose of motivation. Because we all get so wrapped up in our days that just the process of actually thinking in an evening about the good stuff that's happened is quite powerful in itself. But when you have a whole library of good things that have happened to you, well, that's when you'll become unstoppable. So let me know in the comments if you're gonna try this out, or if you're even already doing something similar yourself, because either way, I want this channel to be a two-way dialogue, so let's chat down below. I would also really appreciate it if you left a like for this video for our all-powerful overlord, the YouTube algorithm. Because watching videos to the end, sharing them, liking them, commenting, you know, it all really helps this channel grow, so I really do appreciate it. For now though, I just want to say thank you for watching, and stay tuned for some more ideas and tactics coming very soon that I just cannot wait to share with you. So make sure you hit the bell icon below so YouTube actually notifies you when these new videos are out, and I'll hopefully see you next time. Cheers.